G'day viewers, welcome to another super cool, helpful repair video from the Goat Shed, located in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. So today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. It's 19 degrees Celsius outside, partly cloudy, and that equates to approximately 66.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So overall it's just a coolish sort of winter's day, nothing to get excited about. So back in April I did a video in my shed showing you my pinball machines and just a bit of a tour of the shed, and here we are back in my shed because I promised you that we would do some videos on some repairs that I had to do. Well, let's do some of that today. So we're going to start off on Williams Apollo from 1967. Now this is my machine, and I'll show you something that's sort of been annoying me for a while and what we've got to do to fix that up. As I mentioned, I play my machines almost every day. I play Apollo quite a lot, and this particular problem sort of reared its head, I don't know, probably 3-4 months back, and it sort of got me thinking, well, we probably should do something about it. So let me show you what the problem is so we can all understand it. Then we'll take a look at the schematic and we'll figure out how to actually fix that problem. So here's Apollo, and I mentioned when we did the previous video the back glass isn't in the best of condition. I can buy one of those off Koos in the Netherlands, one of those foil things. I'll consider that, but other than that, the machine's in quite good condition. Look, I think I've owned this machine about 5 years now, might be 6 years, time flies. The cabinet's not in too bad a condition, the playfield's in really nice condition, and I've really had very little I've had to do in this game over a long period of time, which is quite good for a machine of its age. It does need a new hold relay coil, and that's burnt out and someone's got a little bit of rubber jammed in there to keep that on. I actually do have one, it's just a matter of getting the time to put it in. As I mentioned, Graham and I are always too busy fixing other people's machines and probably really neglect our own up to a point. It's certainly not done on purpose, it's just, one can't work on pinball machines all day, every day. Gotta have a life, haven't you? Some people might say not, but we do enjoy working on the machines, and it is just a hobby. Keeps us busy, keeps the mind active. So let's have a look what this problem is. So what the problem here is the change button located just here. Now see how that's lit up the advance, and just in the bottom left corner you can see the red pop has come on. But this switch isn't reliable. I'm pushing it now and it's not sort of, well, it works, but sometimes it doesn't do the job. Now that's turned on the yellow bumper. Let's have a look there. Probably best if I hold this back here so you can see better. So it alternates. Now it turns off that, it lights up the right lane for 300, then it'll light up the left lane for 300. But this isn't reliably happening, and sometimes there's no lights on at all, so nothing's going on. So in other words, the advance is out and the yellow or red pops are out, and it's just not working. Now, what could that be? Well, it's not that hard to work out, but if we have a quick look at the schematic, we'll discover what that is. So here's the 1-point relay here. It comes across and goes through a change relay, and then we've got the top bumper switch. The top bumper, of course, is the advanced bumper, the dead bumper. Now, what I forgot to mention is that rollover button, as well as changing the pop bumper lights from green to yellow to red, etc., it also scores 1 point. So that's the clue of where to go and look around that 1 point area. And you can see we've got a GB, a green and black wire. Now if we come over here, that green and black wire is joined, comes down here and through that switch there. I'm having trouble. Oh, that's the 1 point relay. And that's the 1 point drum unit end of stroke switch, as well as index switch on the score motor. So the problem here was not the rollover switch as I first suspected, but rather the switch in this change relay. Now, it's a make-break switch, as you can tell by the way the schematic is drawn, with the two lines, with one closed and the two lines below it, with another open. That allows that changes the lights, like it's like an on and off switch. So that's where the problem lies. So we'll get under and have a look at that in a moment and see what we can see there, and you'll get more of an idea of what I'm talking about. But so that switch will either not be swiping hard enough against the other switch when it changes, and or it's dirty. Now, I'm banking it's probably dirty and maybe slightly out of adjustment, because as I already mentioned, I've never really done any work on this game. So we'll have a look. There's a better look at that change relay on the lamp circuit, where it shows you the lamp for the right top rollover, the top bumper, the left top jet bumper, the right bumper. And you can see once again the change relay there with that same colour wire. Where is it? There it is there. That black and green. So that probably gives you a better example. It might not have been quite as clear on the other little bit of the schematic. So you've often got to remember, where there's lamps involved, there's a separate side of the schematic. And of course that's the 6 volt side. So we're going to open the machine up now and have a look. So there we are, we're looking at the change relay now. Now there's actually 2 change relays in this game, which makes for an interesting life. But the one we were interested in here was this one up here, and I'll just show you the switch involved. It was this switch here. Now I'll operate that and you watch these lights. So that goes out, comes on, goes out, comes on. And there's also this change relay here, not to be confused. This is the one that we're interested in. And what the problem was it's probably, I can't get the camera in close enough for you to see, but the middle switch, of course, is the long blade. When it was moving across, there was no movement to the left of the other switch, and therefore it wasn't making a proper circuit. So as you operate that, see that holds on till something's hit, like something changes it, like that, or a pop bumper. Wrong one. Roll over the rollover, and it lets go. So it goes from one side to the other, and that was actually the problem. So it was a fairly simplistic problem, so I'm fairly confident now we've repaired this. let's have a look at what I mentioned earlier on about the hold relay. We'll just get down here and have a little squeeze. Where is it? There it is. Just coming into the picture now. So I've just got to reach over the transformer. That's it there. It's been disconnected, and someone's got a bit of rubber jam between the armature and the frame of the relay to make it work. So I'll have to replace that. That's a reasonably simple job. Now bear in mind, I've been saying hold relay, but you know, Williams actually call that the lock relay, don't they? It does the same job. Like the first ball relay on a Gottlieb is the index relay on a Williams. It's once again still does the same job. So as you can see there over there, there's a step down transformer, and back in 1966 that's what used to happen. The operators would have to put a step down transformer in when they come over from the States. I'm not sure when Williams started putting in dual voltage transformers, but I think Gottlieb started doing it in the early 70s maybe. I'm not 100% sure about that. So I've been pretty lucky with this machine. It hasn't had a lot go wrong with it. About August the year before last, so that would have been August 2021, I did a video on repairing fully dismantle and clean and repair the replay unit and the ball count unit that was out of this game, Apollo. So that's how long it is now. So here it is, June 23. I haven't had to do anything to it. So that's pretty good. So, you know, a lot of people say electromechanical games are troublesome. Well, I tend to disagree if they're looked after. And bear in mind, I haven't had to do a lot with this. Oh, one of the first things that after I got it, it wouldn't start. The whole game wouldn't start. Now, what that turned out to be was the coin relay was open circuit. So when that generally happens, in other words, 0 ohms of measurement, when that happens, it's normally the wire's broken off just inside the wrapping, and in this case I was lucky that's what it was, so I was able to repair that. But because at the time I was doing an order to PBR, I decided to order one because they're a really weird, like, coil. They must have made some specifically for different games, and on the coin relay back in those days. So I've actually got a spare if we ever need it. Goodness knows if it goes in any other Williams games. But there, so we've done that, and that's good. So let's just have a look at that. But like I said, I'm pretty confident it's going to be okay. Yeah, so we're in the middle of a game. Let me just walk around and see what happens. Well, here we go. So we're on yellow bumpers and no advance light. Red bumpers and advance light. Yellow. And of course these lights up here change. I'm not sure if they're in the picture. There is a rollover here at the side, so no yellow light here, no light on there, I'm sorry. That's 100 points. And we have a light here, that's 300 points. So that's working quite okay now. So yeah, I'm happy with this. Now we've got 300 when lit, and it opens the side gate, so we'll touch that. My side gate's open, and down it goes, and I'll get the ball back to shoot out again. So yes, it looks pretty good that this game is working properly again now. So I was lucky with this game. I was able to get a schematic here locally in Australia off a guy that I know who had one. So I try and get schematics for all my games. I don't think I've got one for King of Diamonds. And the only reason is I probably keep forgetting to order one every time we do a PBR order. So I guess I've got to remember that, haven't I? Alright, let's move on now to Williams Soccer. So there's the 1,000-point score reel out of my Williams Soccer. Now, it was just a minor thing, but occasionally I was just getting the 1,000-point wouldn't reset properly, once again inconsistently. Now remember, on a Williams they don't call these score reels, they call them drum units. So when you're reading a schematic on a Williams, it'll say DU or U. Okay, we Australians say U, but I think you get what I mean. So at 0 on a Williams, in most cases, when it gets to 0, all the switches are open. So on the 1,000-point one, you've only got the run-out switch and the reset switch. You haven't got a 9s carryover, so there's only 2 switches. So if you have a look at the schematic, and I do have the schematic around there, but it's just not going to be possible to show it to you the way I'm situated at the moment. All I'm going to do is clean that switch, or I'll clean both of them actually, and just check their adjustment, and we should be as good as gold. Now the only other thing, I've had this soccer now about already done, we had it ready for September 2021 it was, yeah. The only thing I'm after, where is it? Can we see it? Yeah, see that step unit there? What I'm after is the arm. That's one of those step units where the drive pawl fits on with a clip. So you can take the whole drive arm out and the drive pawl fits on with a clip. And if anyone is really observant, maybe I can get this over there and show you without too much drama. We've got a homemade bell clanger. I know you can buy those, but this is the drive arm that I'm talking about. Fits on with a clip. I'm after, that arm's broken. That's where the crank goes. Like I said, that's not the right crank. So if anyone knows of one of those, I'd be eternally grateful. I probably should put a post up in one of the groups. I know I'm probably going to get one overseas. At all the parts that Graham has, we just haven't got one of those. And those bells polish up rather nicely. So yeah, this game was totally gone through back in 21. I bought this in Melbourne and brought it up, and it was a terribly painted thing. It was, what colour was it? It was green. So, there's the solenoid that fires the animation ball when you score a goal. The other problem I was having with this, which wasn't sort of a major problem, in behind the bell there's 2 lamps and they say goal. So when that ball kicks up, it says goal. And one of the problems was the lights more or less went out. Anyway, I chased the circuit, and I think what it was a cold solder joint. I moved a lug. I'm just trying to remember where it was to show you, but it wasn't hard to work out. And it hasn't played up since. And the only other problem I had a bad Jones plug. I had a high resistance in one of the Jones plugs, and specials wouldn't light up. And it was sort of, that was a while ago, and that's not played up again. So this has been a really reliable game for me, and I'm really pleased with how it came up. Now, remember, these Williams score reels, they have that that wing nut underneath them. I was lucky we had that. None of the wing nuts were there, so we found some wing nuts and I put it on. So yeah, not a lot to show you there. There's the switches. Where are we? We're on 1. So both those switches are closed, and they'll stay closed till we get round to 9. Let's see if I can do this. It's going to be hard. Hang on a sec. Can I or can't I? You'd think I'd be able to. So we're on 9 now, and as you can see, both switches, I'll try and get some focus there, are closed. Now we're at 0, just to show you. Yeah. They're both open. I don't know if you can see that, but believe me, they are. Okay, so I'm pretty confident. So here we go, let's see if this reliably resets. Yeah, it seemed to. So hopefully that's all good. That's the front of the soccer ball there. I mean, I've got the glass on this game. I've got to move it out of the road to get it there. But like I said, that goal light up there wasn't coming on. You've got to get that goal light, you've got to score a goal. So that can happen by getting it in here or in either hole on either side for the blue or the red team. Now that's how that happens. Great game. I almost forgot. We had a problem with full house as well. Now what the problem was that the bell wasn't going off when you were scoring 10 or 100 points. 1 point was working okay. That's because the bell works on the match stepper, the 0 to 9 unit. But the large bell, as Williams tend to call it, which is up in the back left corner of the back box in this instance, which is here in the schematic, as you can see, large bell coil. Now this is a very simple circuit. It comes off the one side of the black, comes across here, and it can go either way. It can, to make power, this switch can close or that switch can close. So the top switch is the 10 point, the bottom switch is the 100 point, and that's coming over to the red side. And at first I thought, oh, it's just a dirty switch on the relay. But the clue here was we have a red wire, I beg your pardon, a black wire from one side of the coil, and a BG, which is black-green, to the other side of the coil. Simply when I lifted the playfield up, the black-green wire was broken off the coil lug. So a simple resolder job has remedied that, and now the machine should happily sing along. Let's have a listen. So you should be able to hear that bell now. Yes, I believe that's working. So a rather simple repair. Alright, well once again we hope you enjoyed this little video on doing repairs on, well it turned out 3 machines.